So guys, this is the part 2 of this tutorial, and it is the sewing and final part of this tutorial. Okay, now we are done cutting our pieces, right? If you watched the previous video, you understand what I'm saying. If you have not watched the previous video, kindly check our comment section and you will see the link to the cutting video. Now, after cutting all our pieces, the next thing that we are going to do is to arrange them the way we are going to join them. So these are the white pieces that I cut out, right? I have 6 pieces here and we are going to start joining. But before I do that, I'll arrange all my pieces. So these ones are the front pieces. The front pieces, you can see our upper bust tightening, our under bust darts, the notches. All these notches are the points where the white pieces will start from. Now I will start joining. And now please keep your pins closed. You will need a lot of pins, right? So now this is the first piece, and you pin it around that notch. Okay, so you pin it to one side. You first of all, you attach to one side of the triangle. You attach it to that side. You sew it straight down to the full length, and after sewing it straight down to the full length, you place the other piece on top of it and sew straight down. I will still take you guys to my sewing machine so that you can see how I did that. So right now I am pinning down to the full length, and after sewing it straight just from that notched area, I will use half an inch to sew it straight down. So at this point, I felt like if I start there, it will look low. So I had to take it up like 2 inches above the notched points, the points that I notched. So now I am pinning it, and these areas that I'm pinning, I will use half an inch to sew straight down to the full length. And after sewing with half an inch, you will flip it to the other side. This is just one side of that flay. So after joining one flay to this part, one side of the flay to this part, the other side of the flay is still free. So I will bring it forward. This is the other side of the flay. So if you bring it forward like this, you will use the second piece, like the second black piece, to cover up that remaining part. So what I mean is that you flip it the way I did. So just flip it like this, and you will use half an inch. With half an inch, you will start sewing from the top down to the full length again. So if it reaches that point where I notched, it will cross that white one and you will sew straight to the full length. So joining this way will give you that sharp triangle, like that sharp triangular look. So if you reach this notched part, you will continue sewing on the remaining part of that flay, on the remaining parts of the white piece. So now after pinning, we'll go to our sewing machine. This is how I'm going to pin both the front and the back. So this is just one white piece. I will add the second one also. Okay, so I hope you are watching me as I do it. Now I'll stop pinning at this point. Of course, I already know that I'll use half an inch. Now if I open it up, this is what I have. You can see how that V shape, that white part, has a sharp V shape. Yeah, that is why you have to cut this in pieces. Now this is the second flay. I'll start pinning from the waist, from the notched area, not the waist. I'll start pinning from the notched area down to the full length, and after pinning or sewing one side of that white piece, I will use the other piece or the other black piece to cover it up. So you flip it this way. After flipping it this way, you place the other one on top and then start from the top of the dart line and sew straight down. So that is how we are going to pin the back pieces also. our sewing machine right now, and you can see I have ran my first stitch on one side of that white piece. I had to join it to the black piece, just one side. So for the second joining, I will start from the neckline. This is our dart area, so I'll start from this neckline and I'll start stitching. I will maintain half an inch. I will follow that half an inch. Now we are approaching this place where they intersected, where they met. I will just shift the other allowance. You can see the way I shifted it, and I will continue with my half inch and cross it, like you sew across it. So after sewing it, if you open it up, you have a sharp V. That is how you are going to sew all of them. It is the same method. The hardest part of this clothes is just the drafting and cutting, the cutting especially. Once you are done cutting, the stitching is really easy. I finished this dress within 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah, it didn't take me so much time. Once you have gotten the cutting accurately, just use half an inch to close up everything. So now we are done sewing and joining the front pieces, and we are also done sewing the back pieces. So this is the front piece. So the next thing that I'm going to do now is to insert our sleeve. You know, our sleeve is a strap, just a strappy sleeve. So now these are my two pieces. I have turned them, just black pieces. Now I am going to pin them around my neckline, very close to your dart line. So after pinning them around your neckline, you will also cut out a facing. Sorry, we have not cut out a facing for this. If you want to use bias to turn it, that is okay, but I don't want to use bias. I believe that bias makes your dress look cheap. So if you want your dress to have this clean finishing, you should use facing. At least for the front, I will use facing for the front of this dress, and I will use bias to turn the back neckline. So now I have folded my piece into two, and I want to curve the sweetheart neckline. I want the sweetheart neckline to be very defined. Now after cutting down my sweetheart neckline, I will get another piece, and that is the piece that I will use to cut out my facing. I want to cut a facing for this. But before you cut the facing, you should finish joining all your pieces. That is the easiest way to do it. Now I am done joining all my pieces. I can now go ahead and cut my facing. So I will use this black fabric to cut out my facing. I'll place it this way, and then I'll go ahead and cut out my facing. My facing will reach my side seam. It will reach my side seam, and it will be like 3 inches long. That's all. So right now I'll use this facing to cover all those places that I pinned my sleeve. So I'll open up this. You can see I have opened it up, and I will place my facing on top. So if I turn my neckline, I will stitch the sleeve at the same time. As I'm turning my neckline, I'll also stitch down the sleeve also. So right now I'll pin everything. After pinning, I will use half an inch to turn my neckline. Remember to notch and top stitch so that the sweetheart neckline will be defined. All right, so that is it for the front. For the back, I am going to use bias. I will just use bias to turn the back because it is the back. It will not be really noticeable. Now this is the remaining piece. You know, this is the side piece. You know, this white flay is at the side too. So if you are sewing the side, or if you are stitching the side, you will insert this white. So now I am pinning it to the side of the front. After pinning it to the side of the front, I can now get my back piece, and I will attach it to the back. I will attach the remaining part of the white, the other side of the white flay, to the back. So that is how you are going to join it. If you are sewing this dress, you don't need so many allowance. You don't need so much allowance. Half inch is okay. At the side, you can just add 1 inch. So now I am pinning the other flay to the other side of the front. After pinning that, this is me pinning the flay. So after pinning that, I'll get my back piece, and I will use my back piece to stitch to cover up the remaining parts of the flay, the white flay. So that is it. You don't really need to do much. The same method that we used to join the front is the same method that we use to join the back. Okay, yeah. So now I am done with the front and I will get the back. So this is my back piece. You can see I am done attaching the two flay on it. And remember that this bag does not have a zipper allowance. Our zip will be on our side. So this is my bias tape. I always need to turn my back neckline. Now this is the front piece. I am done pinning the remaining part of the flay to the front, right? So I'll place it on the back and we will start merging it with the back. Okay, just like the way we joined the center pieces, that is the same way we are going to join the side piece. So I'll not insert my zipper now. I'll go ahead and join everything normally and iron. So after ironing, I can now open up one side of that dress. I'll open the left side and insert my zip. So just use 1/2 inch to sew the remaining part of the flay straight down. Nothing else, just 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch everywhere. Okay, so I am done pinning this side. I will get the other side of the back and pin it to the remaining flay that I've already pinned to the front. Okay, so this is it. I will use 1/2 inch and pin it straight down to the full length. Right now I am done and this is what I have. I will turn it to the right side. I am done joining everything with 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, everything. I'll turn it to the right side and this is what I have. Our sleeve is still intact. Our neckline is neat because I used facing to turn the front neckline, the bias for the back neckline. I'll now go ahead and pin the sleeve. I don't like stitching down the sleeve until I'm done fitting. So once you are done fitting, you can now get where you want your sleeve to be at. Okay, so right now I will go ahead and fit, and after fitting I will stitch it down according to how tight I want my sleeve to be. Now after doing all this, I am done ironing too. I'll open up the left hand side of this is my zipper. So this is the left hand side of this dress. I'll rip it. Yeah, please take your time to rip this. I'll rip it and I'll attach my sleeve on the allowance that I used to close it earlier. So there's no point adding zipper allowance to the back of this dress. I kept my zipper allowance at the right. So after doing this, you will repeat till the length that you want your zipper to stop at, and you maintain the same allowance you used to stitch the front and the back together. That is the allowance you are going to add your zipper on. I hope this tutorial is helpful. Please, if you are new to my channel, I am Ijoma. Do not forget to subscribe so that you can be seeing more videos like this. Our tutorials are interesting, and do not forget to like this video so that more tailors like you can see the video. Thank you all so much. Thank you all. Thank you for your support. I can't wait to see you all in my next tutorial. Bye.